Next time on Casino Royale with cheese.
I also asked my wife if dudes are hot a lot, and she's like, "Why do you always ask that?" And she's like, "Do you want to have sex with that dude?" I ask it all the time, you know. So here's kind of her taste in dudes. She really likes Vince Vaughn for some reason. That Brillo-headed motherfucker.
Well, she kind of married a Vince Vaughn type of dude.
You think so?
Yeah.
A little bit?
Yeah.
A little bit. At the beginning of the breakup, maybe. Not the end of the breakup, where he's like lost all the weight and he's nice to everybody.
Yeah, the beginning breakup guy.
Right. I have no idea what to think your ideal looking dude is, you know?
Well, Nicole told me, and I don't know if this is complete bullshit or not.
Okay.
But Nicole told me that out of the big circle of friends
Yes.
that they have, that they all think their husband is the most attractive.
Really?
Yeah.
I figured for sure my wife would be like, "No, mine was the goofy looking one," you know, but
Oh, no.
I don't know. That's pretty weird. I don't know. Jared's a good looking dude.
I mean, sure.
It's whatever. He ain't got no ass, but it's
Well,
all right.
well, okay.
And now, the conclusion.
Houston, we have a problem.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
A boy's best friend is his mother.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Silent Green is people!
Yo, Adrian! Adrian!
Let's put a smile on that face.
I gotta warn you, Clark. They don't play the same games here as they do at them regular casinos.
Royale, too.
Apparently, he had a very good time.
Live from our studios in Cairo, Egypt, it's Casino Royale with Cheese, starring your host, who's got the breath of a 3,000-year-old mummy, Shane Burns.
Thank you, everybody. This is Casino Royale with Cheese, the internet show where we discuss movies that were number one at the box office exactly 20 years ago. Episode 68 today. Excuse me, I was breathing in more concrete dust, so hopefully there's not too much of that. But 68. Today I'm joined by the man who once lost a bet because he thought that a camel could beat a horse in a foot race. This is Mike. What were you thinking?
A camel actually can beat a horse in a foot race. Although a horse has a higher top speed than a camel, the shape of the camel's foot allows them to run quickly over sand.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you Google that this week, or did you already know that?
I had theorized that, and then when we watched the race on the movie, we Googled it.
Oh, okay. Good looking out.
And since I'm the only one of the two of us that's ever sat on a camel, I feel like I'm a bit of an expert.
Okay, so quick question for you, sir. There's been talk lately. For some reason, I'm hearing people say that the hump on the camel's back is not for water storage. So what's the story on this fucking thing? Why is it there?
It's full of fat.
Oh, just to survive in the desert, I guess?
It's a fuel, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, that makes sense. Good looking out. How's it going, bro?
More importantly, may the 4th be with you, my friend.
Why, thank you, sir. We actually kind of missed the boat on that deal, because that would have been awesome to start Star Wars month on May the 4th, but, you know, whatever.
We didn't do it.
No, it's that damn calendar, man. I'll tell you what.
That's all on the filmmakers, bro.
Yep.
To be fair, the May the 4th didn't really take on popularity until after episode 1, 2, and 3 came out.
Correct, yes. Because I remember there was a buddy of mine, he was like, it's Star Wars Day, and I was like, Star Wars Day? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, Star Wars? There weren't any Star Wars movies that were released on May the 4th ever, you know? And so I had no idea what he was talking about. He said, well, it's May the 4th. Okay. Whatever. The first time I heard about that was maybe 10. Well, no, it was a while back, but I never really cared that much. So
Now it's pretty mainstream.
yeah, it is. In fact, I was just reading an article. I think that there's a city in California that's actually recognizing it as like Star Wars Day, something like that. So
Is it
it's whatever.
the city where Lucasfilm is located?
It might be. I don't know. No idea. That's a good question, though.
Well,
I bet
either-
that is a rich motherfucking community right there, dude.
I don't know. I mean, they taxed the shit out of George Lucas, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. I can't even imagine the taxes on $4 billion. That's what he sold Lucasfilm for. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's just the sales of that.
Doesn't it make you sick?
Nah, he is a pop culture icon, so I guess he earned it.
They'd still sitting pretty. So, yeah. Dude, I think I might have told you this, but one time I went through on celebritynetworth.com, and I was actually looking at the George Lucas, how much his net worth is versus Steven Spielberg, because they're like best friends. Dude, it's not even close. George Lucas has so much more money than Spielberg does, man. And it's disgusting, dude.
Which is crazy because Spielberg has made way more hits.
Yeah, he's definitely not a one-trick pony, as
No,
Lucas seems to be.
Yeah, Lucas is Star Wars franchise solo, basically.
Pretty much. He's done other stuff, but nothing good. So, that being
we'll
the
save it
case.
for the end of the show, but I'm sure you watched your fair share of Star Wars stuff today.
I did not, actually.
I'm stunned.
Yeah, it's really disappointing. So I'll tell you the hitch in my get along with that is I went out and I hardly ever buy video games. If I do, it's like an old school, something off of eBay, something that I can just hop on and like play, for like a half hour at a time if need be. But I had a gift card for Best Buy, and so I, even though it came out 7 months ago, finally picked up the Spider-Man game that came out last year, and it's pretty fucking awesome. And so
It's an exclusive Sony game, so I don't have access to this game.
You do not, and you are missing out because it's super fucking fun, dude. But
It's the only game that's come out in. Well, God of War has always been one that's bothered me because it's an exclusive PlayStation game.
right.
But other than God of War, there hasn't been too many titles that felt like I've been cheated on. But when the new Spider-Man movie or game came out, I felt like I was being cheated.
Even because there's like the infamous games, but I really don't care about those all that much. You got what is that one? It's the dude that he's like the Indiana Jones type thing. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, there's something like that where he's basically the male version of like Lara Croft or whatever. And they have that series. Nobody really cares that much, But God of War is like the big one for most people. And then, of course, now Spider-Man. But in general, like, I hate video game exclusives. I think you're just kind of fucking over half the populace, pretty much. So, but, yeah, it's pretty fun though. So I'll probably end up watching some Star Wars stuff after this, but we're gonna have to talk more about Star Wars later, I'm afraid, because this week we're talking about the Mummy.
channels that are streaming Star Wars movies, even though I know you own them all.
Yes, I do. Except I don't own The Last Jedi.
I watched that today, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh goodness. Okay. Have you seen The Mummy before, Mike?
Okay, so Shane, we were talking about The Mummy this week,
Yes.
starring Brendan Fraser and
Yes.
Rachel Weisz.
Rachel Weisz. Yes.
Weisz?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I've seen The Mummy before.
She's lovely, by the way.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Let's see who else we had in this here movie we are looking at. What was I looking at? My goodness, that's awful.
I would like to give a special shout out to Patricia Velasquez.
Oh, Velasquez or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, Velasquez.
Interesting facts. She was actually on Arrested Development. She was Job's little girlfriend, Marta, that Michael
Really?
wound up falling in love with. Yeah. They actually had, from what I understand, 3 actresses, but I really only noticed 2 of the actresses. And I actually consider her to be the lesser of the 2 Martas, because the first girl, she was incredible. And then I actually think that what's her name's kind of a unfortunate trade-in. So,
Well, Patricia Velasquez in The Mummy, you could totally understand why that guy would be willing to risk full life.
yeah, he's really putting it all out there. He did not give a fuck, man. But let's see. We have Brendan Fraser playing Rick O'Connell, Rachel Weisz playing Evelyn Carnahan, John Hannah playing Jonathan Carnahan, Arnold Vosloo playing Emotep. Let's see. Kevin O'Connor playing Benny Gabor. Oded Fair plays Ardeth Bay. And I don't know. That's pretty much it. You mentioned Patricia Velasquez. She's actually in The Mummy Returns, and she has a much bigger role in that movie, if you remember seeing it. But,
Yes, she has a sword fight with Rachel Weisz.
yeah, it's pretty fantastic. It's definitely something that they were eager to put into the trailer for the movie. So, but anyway,
What's your experience with it?
Well, so all I remember was 1999. It was around this time that, so whenever all these movies came out, that means that they all came out on VHS around the same time. And so, it was like we got to rent The Matrix and then The Mummy real soon after, and then like Star Wars Episode 1 real soon after that, And of course, my dad, he had the technology at the time to copy them off onto tapes. And so whenever we get it from Best or Blockbuster or whatever. So I just remember watching this at the house with my parents and loving it. I thought it was a cool little adventure movie. That's pretty much it, man.
Here, in the podcast.
Yep. Let's do summary real quick, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Or do you want to do numbers first?
Yeah, let's do numbers first.
Okay.
This movie was number 1 for 1 week.
It was not. You are incorrect, sir.
Damn it.
Yeah, that was
2 weeks.
So you're kind of mistaken on that. Yeah, so it was made on a budget of $80 million. It was number 1 for 2 weeks, and so we're actually borrowing a week from The Mummy so that we can have 4 weeks of Star Wars month. So that's why that's working out. Yeah. Do you dare to guess how much money it brought in the U.S. total?
$120 million.
It was 155 million and 300 and some change. So altogether, $415 million at the
No
box
wonder
office.
they made 3 more sequels.
Yeah, they made quite a few actually. So it did pretty well, and apparently, I suppose the day that it came out, the executives up at Universal were like, "Hey, we're going to need another one," So he was already hired on that day. They knew that it was going to be a killer at the box office. So, but let's take a look here. Let me do a summary real quick, get this out of the way,
Okay.
and then we'll give our thoughts. So,
All right.
The Mummy, released May 7th, 1999, is the reboot, even though we weren't calling them that at the time, of the series that began in 1932. It also was directed by notable Hollywood brainless slot creative machine Stephen Sommers, the directorial talent behind the first horrible G.I. Joe movie and Van Helsing.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. The film opens in 1290 BC, where we see Egyptian priest Imhotep participating in some very unpriest-like activities as he proceeds to finger pop the asshole of one Anck-su-namun, the mistress of one Pharaoh Seti I.
I saw no finger popping, by the way.
Well, it's PG-13, bro. All he can do is rub her upper arm.
I must have looked away or something during the finger popping.
Oh, I have the DVD with the deleted scenes. So
Very nice.
I think I downloaded the wrong Mummy movie. But after the affair is discovered, the two assassinate the pharaoh. Imhotep flees and Anck-su-namun kills herself, knowing that Imhotep can use his supernatural abilities to resurrect her. Imhotep and his followers soon steal Anck-su-namun's corpse and travel to Hamunaptra, the city of the dead. Before he can complete her resurrection ritual, however, Seti's bodyguards, the Magi, arrive and begin mummifying Imhotep and his followers. Unlike his followers, however, Imhotep is sentenced to the Hamdai, the worst of Egyptian curses. Some of its lesser characteristics consist of having one's tongue cut out and being buried alive with flesh-eating scarab beetles. Afterward, Imhotep is sealed away at the feet of the statue of the Egyptian god Anubis and surveilled by the Magi in an attempt to prevent his return. Cut ahead 3,216 years later to 1926, where librarian Evelyn Carnahan is presented with an intricate mechanized box and mapped to Hamunaptra by her brother Jonathan, who soon reveals that he stole the box from American adventurer Rick O'Connell. O'Connell had discovered the city 3 years earlier while in the French Foreign Legion. He makes a deal to take Evelyn if she can get him released from prison. As O'Connell leads his group to the city, they encounter a group of American treasure hunters led by O'Connell's former colleague and genuine buddy fucker Benny Gabor. Soon the Magi attack the boat they are traveling on, and the expedition is forced to travel by camel. This doesn't dampen Evelyn's spirits, though, as she is searching for the fabled Book of the Living, supposedly made of pure gold. After arriving, however, she doesn't find any such thing, but instead the fairly well-preserved remains of a mysterious mummy. The coinciding American expedition, however, finds the also fabled Book of the Dead, along with some canopic jars containing Anaxunamun's guts, and a curse saying that whoever opens the chest containing the book will die. That night, Evelyn takes the book to the Book of the Dead and reads a page, accidentally awakening Imhotep. The expedition returns to Cairo along with the various plagues of Egypt, and Imhotep along with the help of Benny. Meanwhile, Imhotep regains his strength by killing the American expeditioners that open the chest. O'Connell soon reaches out to Ardith Bey, the Magi, for ideas on how to kill Imhotep. Bey hypothesizes that Imhotep wants to sacrifice Evelyn to resurrect Anaxunamun. Evelyn, not short of hypotheses herself, suspects that if the Book of the Dead resurrected Imhotep, the Book of the Living might just kill him. Fortunately, she is soon able to deduce its whereabouts, but is soon captured by Imhotep. Imhotep, Evelyn, and Benny return to Hamunaptra for Anaxunamun's resurrection party, with Rick, Jonathan, and Ardith in tow. Rick is soon confronted with Imhotep's mummified priest, but is able to rescue Evelyn before the ritual can be completed. After recovering the Book of the Living, she reads its inscriptions, giving him back his mortality. Rick forces him into the River of Death, leaving Imhotep to vow his revenge. While looting treasure from the pyramid, Benny sets off a booby trap and becomes trapped in the pyramid to seemingly be eaten alive by scarab beetles. Ardith rides away as Evelyn and O'Connell kiss, riding away on a camel laden with Benny's appropriated booty. This film stars Monkey Bone and Darkman.
Monkey Bone?
Yeah, you remember that fucking movie?
Was it called Monkey Bone?
Yeah, it was called Monkey Bone.
No, I don't remember that movie at all.
It was a deal where fucking Brendan Fraser was this animator or something like that, but his cartoon like pulled him into it somehow or some fucking shit. But like it was this really nasty cartoon that would like beat off all the time and shit, whatever, you know?
Yeah. I do remember the Monkey Bone.
Yeah, that's going back a ways right there. But
they were like, how can we take Who Framed Roger Rabbit up a notch?
Yeah, and just turn it into something it shouldn't be. You know?
Something no child should ever see.
What's crazy is the guy that directed that did, of course, the Nightmare Before Christmas. He directed that. And he did Coraline. And
is that
to
Tim
look
Burton?
at... No, it's this dude, Henry Selick. Tim Burton actually wrote Nightmare Before Christmas, but he didn't direct it.
Oh.
So, yeah. But no, this dude, like, if you look at something like Coraline, it's just such a well-made movie, such a good story, and so artistic and stuff. And you just look at Monkey Bone, and you're like, this guy's fucking crazy, man. I don't even know what to say about that. But, have you seen the Tom Cruise Mummy movie?
Yeah.
Oh, what did you think of that?
The mummy chick is hot.
Is that pretty much all I had going for it, or?
I mean, I guess it was pretty cool. I don't know. I remember her a lot.
I heard it fucking sucked. So I don't know. I haven't watched it because I heard it was stupid. So it's whatever.
I thought it was really odd that Tom Cruise was starting a reboot, but
yeah, and you wouldn't think running from a mummy would really be something that he would want to be in. I wouldn't think,
Right.
Kind of strange, but so I wanted to go through actually and discuss some of the lineage of the Mummy stuff, because it's kind of weird to put into perspective without knowing how much Mummy stuff there was, without going into all the stuff that led up to it, right? So rebooting this franchise was quite a big ordeal. But so the first movie that came out, let's see here what we've got. By the way, have you seen any of the old Mummy stuff at all?
No, I had no idea this was a reboot. It makes total sense, though.
Oh, yeah. No, this was up there with, the Wolfman and all that other shit. But, the Mummy came out originally in 1932. It would not get a follow-up until 1940 with the film The Mummy's Hand. But The Mummy's Hand, it seems like it's kind of a strange little deal here, so... Excuse me.
There's an 8-year break there. That's kind of strange.
Yeah, it was strange. And what's even weirder about it is that apparently this movie did not feature the same characters from the original. And it was an era that they really didn't care that much about recasting characters, because they didn't have VCRs. Nobody really gave a fuck, who was some guy in bandages, And so it was a deal where they completely went with a different character. And then they used that as like a jumping off point, and they made sequels to that movie, but not the original movie. So 1940 was The Mummy's Hand, followed by The Mummy's Tomb in 1942, The Mummy's Ghost in 1944, The Mummy's Curse in 1944, and then there was the comedy horror crossover with Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy.
They had two mummies in 44?
1944, yeah.
Wow.
Now then, there was the
Ambitious.
British Hammer Film Productions that they went
Hammer
through.
Film.
Yeah. You're familiar with them, I take it.
It's a famous porn house, right?
No. Well,
Oh.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know what they do nowadays, but basically what they were doing, there was a British company in the 50s that was going through and redoing all the classics, and a lot of them featured Christopher Lee for some reason. But they went through and they made their little run of mummy movies. The first one being in 1959. Let's see.
Buying
here.
up property rights and rebooting them all. That sounds like a company I know called Disney.
That is true. That is very true. They do that a lot. We need to talk about that too. But let me finish this thought here real quick. So they did The Mummy in 1959. It looks like they did The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb in 1964. The Mummy's Shroud.
Oh, now we're just recycling titles.
Right. That one's a long one. I ain't gonna lie. The Mummy's Shroud, 1966, and The Blood from the Mummy's Tomb in 1971. So
Damn.
there's that. Now, from this, we got The Mummy Returns 2 years later in 2001, and The Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor in 2008. There was also the spin-off series, The Scorpion King, that came out in 2002. The Scorpion
Starring
King.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Scorpion King 2, Rise of the Warrior in 2008. Scorpion King 3, Battle for Redemption in 2012. Scorpion King 4, Quest for Power in 2015. Scorpion King, Book of Souls in 2018, which means that this spin-off of the 1999 Mummy movie franchise actually outlived the reboot, which came out in 2017. So, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah. So, this thing is
That
a big
Rock,
deal
man,
for
he's
Universal.
He's a box office pool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's some serious business going on. So, that being said, what are some of your thoughts regarding The Mummy, Michael?
Are we talking about the 1999 version?
Yes. I mean, you can throw in other shit if you want. So.
That's the only one I watched this week, so I'm glad
Yeah.
we're talking about that one.
Right.
Interesting, though. I like that little history of the Mummy. Actually, when we started this podcast, I was kind of hoping you would be more of that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I like the history and the. I know you pay more attention to that kind of shit than I do, so it's fun to learn about it.
Yeah. No, it's interesting, especially with something that has a lineage like this. This thing's been going on for fucking ever now. So,
I'm curious. Have you seen the 1932 version?
if I did, I was real little, man, and I don't remember anything from it. So.
I'm just curious if like it was in 1923, like this one kind of was when it started.
I don't know. I know that. So the tone was different, obviously. This is more of a swashbuckling action adventure. That they were just trying to do straight up horror, with it. So.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
This one definitely feels a lot more like an Indiana Jones-esque type of film.
It's pretty lighthearted, for people getting their tongues cut off and eaten alive by bugs and shit,
Yeah, there's a lot of like, you almost look through the fourth wall kind of thing and make a silly joke.
Yeah, winking at the camera, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything having to do with that dumpy little prison guard dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That
Luckily,
guy.
he's not around very long.
Yeah, I was so glad when he bit it, dude. He was really annoying. So.
As far as this one goes, I can tell you I really like the little intro that they gave us.
Uh-huh.
A nice little story, so you're not coming into this completely cold trying to figure shit out. I thought the film effects were actually pretty decent for a 99 film.
Yeah.
Some of the things I really liked and some of them I didn't. So, like, the bookcase dominoes in the library.
Wah, wah, wah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, whatever.
They actually
so
rehashed that joke in the next movie, too. So, more of
great.
that. Yeah.
But, like, the things where, like, her brother is, like, in a sarcophagus and he, like, holds a skeleton up in front of her to scare the shit out of her, that's funny.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
So, some of these jokes that they did for me, like, hit home pretty good. And some of them, I was like, we didn't need that at all.
Yeah. One thing I will say that I feel actually that in a lot of ways that the humor, a lot of the more subtle humorous moments I think are handled better than the humorous moments that are in movies nowadays. Because a lot of times what you'll see is they'll completely stop a scene altogether so that they can tell a joke. But in this, they just kind of like have a real quick 2-second joke, and then they just keep going with the scene. A good example of that is when they open the book for the first time, the Book of the Dead, and the wind gust like blows by and like almost blows out their fire. And Brendan Fraser's like, that happens a lot around here.
Yeah.
That shit fucking cracked me up, man. It always has every time I've seen it, and I've seen this movie a lot. So
you know who drills those kinds of jokes home a lot? Is David Bautista in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I agree.
He plays what's that character's name?
Oh man, that's gonna drive me nuts. Is it man?
But he does a lot of those jokes like in the middle of dialogue.
Is it
and
Drax?
They just keep on moving. Drax,
Yeah. Okay.
They just keep on moving right along, but they just a quick beat.
Yeah.
To let him drop his joke and then they keep going.
Right.
He does it really well. And actually, Dave Bautista is on a path to try to be the next Rock.
Oh, okay.
He has his first movie coming out called My Spy.
Huh.
Well, I don't know if it's definitely not his first movie, but his first, like, it's kind
like
of Tooth
he's headlining
Fairy-ish.
it or whatever. Oh, okay. I got you.
Where he's partnered up with a 9-year-old and teaching her how to be a CIA or FBI agent.
Whenever you're any type of sports individual, like sports related person that's trying to make it into acting, it seems like that's a shitburger that all of them have to take a bite out of. That's just something you have to fucking do, you know?
Yeah, you're not going to get a serious role.
Right. I mean, you get them eventually, you know, if you have any
straight out the gate.
ability. Yeah, right. So, no, I never thought about that. But
hey, if you're going to follow footsteps of another WWE star, the way that Rock did, he did a lot of shit movies.
But he's been super successful, though. So
No, that's what I'm saying. His first set of movies were like The Tooth Fairy and shit like that.
Right.
And now everything he's in's a blockbuster.
Well, even looking at like Jumanji, whenever that came out, that was like one of the biggest fucking movies that came out that year. So
And it was great.
yeah, it was pretty funny. Story wise, I like the original way better, but it was
Sure.
funny though. So, excuse me. I went through whenever this movie had just come out, and I guess I was a sucker at the time because we got 5 channels at my house. We didn't have cable or anything like that, and so it was a deal where going through, I was looking one day and I saw in the newspaper, the TV guide, it said that they were showing The Mummy Lives, and The Mummy had just come out at the theaters like a month before, and I was like, oh, I wonder if it has anything to do with that Mummy movie that just came. And I turned it on, and it was one of those like sci-fi, like the Asylum production. Like it was a really terrible movie, and I was a stupid ass kid that thought maybe I got lucky. I don't know. So it was like a Saturday at 2, like they would show that.
Sci-fi. I've never watched a sci-fi original. Then please.
I don't think I've ever actually sat through one. I'm gonna be honest, man. Like,
My dad watches all of them.
really?
Yeah.
Like, so he's seen like Sharknado and stuff.
You know what? We've never talked about it, but I would say it's safe to assume.
Yeah. Interesting. I think they're garbage, and I have no interest in them. So
I've never seen a single second of any of the Sharknadoes.
No, absolutely not.
Although I'm a diehard Erin Ziering fan.
Well, of course. One thing I was going to comment and say about this Mummy movie was that I think that this came out at a really cool time in movies because they're able to use CGI to really open Egypt up, and make it look really cool. And it wasn't like models where you could tell that obviously it was fake shit or just fucking some kind of goofy ass set. Like you could see like an entire civilization, in these shots and stuff. It was really neat. I felt like the opening to this.
The scene for me that really was like set the standard for what the CGI in this movie was going to be based on was, we see where he's trying to bring back Moon and, they have that like shadow figure like come out of the water. That was pretty decent. But the scene where Brendan Fraser was just in that battle and he stumbled over to Horus, or not Horus. What's the bad one? Horus is the good one.
I don't
Anyway,
know.
that statue.
Right.
And then the face like came up from the sand.
Oh yeah.
And,
yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
That was really
CGI is
cool.
Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was all over the trailers for this thing too, by the way. But yeah, that was really neat looking. I actually kind of like the way that the Mummy looked. The CGI in this one was really good. In the second movie, not so much. They got the B team at ILM to do the visual effects, while they got the A team to do Pearl Harbor, which was a terrible movie. But
is that real?
yeah, that's really what happened.
Wow.
Yeah, so the Scorpion King looks like dog shit. What is it? In that movie, the Mummy looks like shit. But I think it looks pretty good here. I think that 20 years old, it holds up pretty good.
I thought it did. And at first I was like, man, this looks really old. And then I realized it's a period piece. It's supposed to look old.
Right. And I think that a lot of that too, the humor that they have is also a bit cheesy at times because it's maybe borrowing from, the cheesiness that you would expect to see in like an old silent film or something along those lines too. I don't know. I forget who it was. I was watching an interview though, and somebody described the director Stephen Sommers as, they said the best way that you could compare him would be to like a kid playing with action figures. And I was like, that's actually probably a pretty good comparison to make for this movie. Like, it's nothing deep, but it's cool, and there's action and it's flashy, So
Yeah.
yeah.
I can tell you that does make a lot of sense, but I can tell you there's a scene I could have done without
What's that?
in this movie. The prison scene.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't need any of that.
No. I don't know. I wish that they had explained why he was there.
He had a good time. That's what they said.
Yeah, that's dumb.
But yeah, and like, while he's sitting there hanging, are they really gonna kill off the biggest name in the movie.
Right. That's what I was saying. And then we get the line, "Oh, his neck did not break." And I'm like, Jesus, dude. Like, what the fuck, movie? Chill out.
Yeah.
You know? And then, of
I didn't
course,
need it.
we see Rick the next day, and he's all gussied up, and he has no ring from his hanging the previous day around his neck, which
Or
would
even
definitely be
the
there.
slightest bruise or something.
No, he's good to go, bro.
Looking as dapper as ever.
I thought those
I
scarabs
did like
were-
his duffel bag.
his
His duffel bag was really
full
cool.
of guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It floated, by the way. Whenever their boat sank, it showed him jumping in the river, and his like duffel bag like was sitting at the top of the water. I was like, that bag would sink to the bottom. You would never see those guns again, dude.
Technically, the boat didn't sink; it was on fire.
Well, it was. I assume that it sank after a while, but it might not have. Let's see.
What were you
here.
saying about the what? Before I said his duffel bag was cool.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, that medicine.
Let's see. Oh, I was gonna say those scarabs are pretty nasty.
Yeah, those are gross.
Those are vicious, dude. Those are rough. I remember those making a big impression on me when I first saw this movie. I was surprised that Brendan Fraser's career really didn't kind of light up after this, because this is a pretty good little action romp, and it made a lot of money. I don't know what happened with that.
About Brendan Fraser is I don't know the timeline of his movies. Like, I know Encino Man was pretty close to the beginning.
He
But
did.
did he do Bedazzled before this?
No, Bedazzled came out after this.
Okay, that was a pretty good one.
I believe between this and Bedazzled, he did George of the Jungle. This
Flop.
is purely speculation on my part. But what else was there?
Didn't he do a couple serious roles?
He did, but that was earlier too. There were a couple. There was one where he's in college, and I had Joe Pesci. And I don't remember. I'm going to have to look this up real quick. I probably should have done some homework on this, actually, because he's had a very interesting career. Like, he pops up in the most random places. He was in the movie Crash, for fuck's sake, you know, married to Sandra Bullock, and you're like, where did that come from? But
Great movie.
let's see here. Okay, so early on, he was in Glory Days. That's the one that I was thinking of.
He's in high school. Yeah.
Yeah. There was Airheads, where he played Chaz. That was the Adam Sandler thing. I remember that.
Well, that's where they like took over the radio station.
Yeah.
Oh, you okay there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
All right.
Who was it all that was that fucking Gary Sinise that was it? Yeah. Oh, it was Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. He was in With Honors. That's the other serious one that I was thinking of. And of course, in Encino Man, he was in School Ties. Also another serious one.
Did a lot of high school movies.
Yeah, one of those is college, and I think it might be School Ties. I'm not sure
Okay.
on that, because I haven't seen any of those, if I'm being completely honest. He did Dudley Do Right in 1999, so the same year as this. Blast from the Past, 1999. Bedazzled in 2000. The Mummy Returns in 01. Monkey Bone, 01. And then Looney Tunes Back in Action in 03. And then 04 was Crash, and he's, let's see, Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor in 2008. And then I guess he's just kind of been doing little bitty shit here and there since then.
I think I figured it out.
What's that?
He just says yes.
Yeah, he's kind of down for just about anything, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Hey,
kinda,
we got this movie role we want you to be in. Cool.
Right. He was a sellout before Nicolas Cage made it cool, so, you know. Excuse me. Let's see here. I wrote down Benny sucks. That guy's a fucking blue falcon, bro.
God.
Yeah, that guy's a real
Damn,
turd
I don't
sandwich.
like that guy one bit.
No.
And you're not supposed to.
Dude, I ain't gonna lie, man. Whenever they board that boat and he finds out that Benny is on there, I would have fucking just killed him whenever I saw him.
He threw him overboard.
He threw him overboard. That guy got way better than he deserved, but it's whatever.
He got his what he got? What's it called? Comeuppance?
Yeah, his comeuppance. Yeah.
Yeah, he got his.
Mm-hmm.
Those nasty little scarab beetles we were talking about.
Right. So, is it safe to say that you like Evelyn's brother, Jonathan, in this movie?
I thought he served his purpose.
I think he's pretty funny. He's actually really amusing in this, and I like him quite a bit in the next movie too. He's one of the better things in that one.
I didn't want to like him.
No, but he is charming. So
it works.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid, but I like it. Let's see here. I think I wrote down, so check this out. I think it's crazy, as lighthearted as this movie is, that Rick O'Connell kills way more people than Indiana Jones did in Crystal Skull.
Really?
Because in Crystal Skull, he only killed one dude. But in this, man, he is just killing. He doesn't miss, you know?
Well, to be fair, Indiana Jones is like an archaeologist.
Right. That is true.
O'Connell is a soldier.
Yeah. Okay. I got you there.
I mean, the movie opens up, he's fighting for the French Foreign Legion.
Right. Well, that actually kind of surprised me that I get, because I was watching the movie and I was like, he's not missing a shot. And then I had to kind of rationalize it out in my head. Like, well, he was technically in the military, so maybe I can give them the benefit of the doubt on that. But he was hitting everything every time. So,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he throws all of his guns on the table in front of Evie. She's terrifying this poor woman. And then he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Well, then why don't you greet yourself before you fucking, start throwing shit on the table in front of this poor girl?
I felt like he was going to like throwing his dick on the table.
Yeah, I could kind of see that too. But you also saw a sex scene with Yarn last week, so I don't know. An entrapment.
You bring up a valid point.
As far as Books of the Dead goes, I prefer the Necronomicon from The Evil Dead. That's a pretty badass book. This one's alright.
Well, they just made two of them. One's spray painted black, and the other one's gold.
Right. It's probably the same fucking one. They just got done filming one of them, and we're like, okay, paint it gold now. I could see him doing that.
It's easier to go black.
Yeah, that's probably true. That is probably true. Let's see here.
I thought it was really weird, the whole cat thing.
Yeah, that was really kind of strange that the cats freaked him out so bad. And apparently in the original movie it wasn't like that, but go ahead.
No, that he would just run away. Like, there's literally a scene where Brendan Fraser like holds up a cat and is like, "Look what I got!"
Oh, fuck this shit,
the mummy.
Yeah,
he's out.
I'm out. Yeah, I don't want no part of that.
I'm not a cat person either, but come on now.
Yeah. Let's see here. Man, I don't know. I just wrote down. Let's see here. I wrote, how many Magi are there? Because they killed a bunch of those motherfuckers. Like, they were dying in droves. Like, 10, maybe like 50 of them total in this movie. I don't know how big their tribe is, but...
Well, how did somebody die?
The Magi?
Yeah.
All those guys attacking. Whenever they attack the camp, Rick's just...
At the beginning?
Unloading those guys. No, whenever they attack... whenever they make it to Hamunaptra... And Rick and they wind up attacking their camp or whatever, and that's whenever Rick has the stick of dynamite that he uses to like scare him off. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of them that died just right there, but I mean, it's all throughout this whole fucking movie, dude.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Did you keep track of the plagues?
No, I didn't write them all down. Let's take a look. So there was locust right up front.
Yep. You have to have the plague of the locust. Everybody knows about that one.
Yeah, that's a big deal. We saw the flies. He spit those out of his mouth.
Yeah, some blood booze.
Yeah, there was blood in the booze. We got the hail that had fire along with it.
You have rain fire from the sky.
Yeah.
And we had eclipse,
Yep, the eclipse.
boils and sores.
Yep, they had boils and sores. I don't remember any others.
Yeah, I think that's where I kind of fell off.
Yeah, but that's whatever. I thought the first half of this movie was actually really quite slow. They really need to speed the fuck up, get on with it. Because
I enjoyed the plane ride scene.
the plane ride scene.
Yeah, where they get that old royal, like English royal pilot.
Yeah.
To
Oh yeah,
fly
yeah,
in
that was pretty
biplane.
cool. No,
They strap the two guys with like a leather belt around the wing.
right. Well, all I'm saying is I really like the beginning of this movie a lot. And then so this movie runs right at, I think it's just a little bit over 2 hours. But the entire, literally from the time that the movie starts until the time that the mummy awakens, I would say is right at about an hour into this fucking movie. And
Pretty sure it was.
Yeah. And so I'm just sitting back like, and usually I don't have a problem with it. I'm not one of those people that's like, come on, get to the fucking action, like let's get to the good stuff. But with this, there's nothing that's going on that's super interesting. Like I really don't care that much about them going, like their journey to Hamunaptra,
To be fair, that was pretty quick.
Oh, really? Because it seemed like that took a long time. Of course, you can cut out the prison shit like you were saying, because that's an unnecessary, somewhere at least 5 minutes of the movie. So that could go away.
You could have cut that season out completely and had the brother run into O'Connell at the bar, and O'Connell's just like holding his box.
Oh, yeah, like he's checking it out or something like that, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like he's got a beard on him, and he's been for the last 3 years kind of just staring at this box.
Right. Well,
And
the only
brother or the sister knows exactly what it is.
Right. The only thing about that is that I think that they also were trying to look for a reason that he feels as though he's obligated to escort her to Hamunaptra. But at the same time, it's like
right.
You could just say, she's like, "I'll give you $500," and he's like, "Cool," You don't need a bunch of extra bullshit. You could just pay him money and he'll go fucking do it,
No, you're right. That is why they did that.
Yeah. I wrote down Arnold Vosloo was just a husk of a man.
Who's that?
He's the mummy.
Oh,
He's pretty fucking shredded in this, bro. He's got good physique. I'm gonna lie.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be glad that you appreciated his
Yeah.
physique.
If he's listening.
Yeah. Sure he is. Why wouldn't he be?
Yeah, everybody is. I hate quicksand in movies. I hate
They
it.
only
It's
used
so
it
stupid.
one spot.
But it's dumb every time. So
It's quicksand. Get out of there. Come on.
so dumb. It doesn't exist. I don't know why that's a thing, but anyway.
Apparently quicksand does exist. But it's not what they do in the movies.
Oh, okay.
Like if you sat a large stone on it, it would sink into it. It just takes a long time.
Right. Like weeks or something like that. At least.
Or hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Did you notice that when damn it, I'm so bad with names. So what's the mummy's name? His real name?
Emotep.
Yeah, Emotep. Did
Yep.
you notice when he brought all his priests back to like fight for him, how easy they were to defeat?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're beating their asses real easy. It's all because they wanted to do that one scene where it was just that big long take of Brendan Fraser like fighting with CGI and like, throwing like knocking their heads like baseballs and shit and cutting off their guts and and their arms and shit, because there's this big long take where he's just jumping around all over the place, just whipping their asses. But yeah, they were too easy. Didn't really build any suspense because
They were really easy.
fucking they weren't effective at all. Yeah. So
Yeah, Nicole's developed this thing with we've watched a few movies lately where it's a husband or a male love interest fighting for a female love interest.
Yep.
And she's like, "Would you do that for me?" And my answer is always the same. I would try.
Right.
I don't. I don't know if I'd be successful, but I
Right.
sure damn give it a shot. Well, in this scene, she was like, would you fight all that for me? I'm like, they look pretty fucking easy to beat. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they wouldn't put up too much of a fight, I'm afraid to say. I like the wall of sand. I thought that was really fucking cool. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. That thing looked really neat. They actually tried to do it again in the second movie, but once again, the B team was out there playing, so it looked like fucking dog shit. But that's whatever. I wrote down, I think it's hilarious how little I care about Winston's death versus how much the movie wants me to. Winston was he was the one that the old pilot that crashed. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't get to know him.
I don't give a
Why would
fuck
you
about
care?
this guy. Yeah. And like they stop and they like have him sink into the quicksand and like it's almost like a little funeral the movie had for him. I'm like, I don't fucking know who this dude is.
Yeah.
That's really strange that you guys do that, but
The only reason he's there is because he knew it was dangerous.
right. Yeah. I don't know. It was dumb.
Like when they asked him to fly the plane for them, he's like, what does this have to do with military interests? And they're like, nothing. And he was like, I'm on board.
Right. Yep. And
Is
he
it
said,
dangerous?
What are
Yep.
my What are my chances of coming back? You know, all that shit. So this is how good of a shot Rick is in this movie. Is apparently at one point there was a scarab beetle that was running toward him that he was able to shoot with his pistol.
With the shotgun.
which is crazy.
Oh, yeah, shotgun.
Was it a shotgun?
Yeah. The whole, like, final third of the movie, he's using a shotgun.
Yeah, it is quite a bit in there. I thought it was bullshit that Ardeth Bay didn't die whenever they fit a stick of dynamite, and he like went and tried to fight off those mummies all by himself. That was dumb, but
Yeah. What are you going to do?
yeah. I like how this movie has like waves of baddies, kind of like a video game. I think that that's really cool, and it all
If you
kind of
like
like
waves of... If you like waves of baddies, you should watch Game of Thrones.
oh really? There's a lot of that shit, huh?
Oh, God.
Oh, okay, fair enough. By the way, how's that going?
Amazing.
Amazing. That's good. I guess. I
We're
like.
halfway through the final season. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that you're that close to the end of it, but
I know it makes us so sad.
yeah. I thought that those mummy guard guys that Jonathan awakened were pretty cool. The ones with the shields and all that shit.
Kind of.
But they're kind of bullshit too, because they were just like standing in a room that had a stone door over it. Are these guys like standing in formation since what is it, 1290 BC or whatever? They're literally just standing there kicking it, you know.
Well,
But-
there is ancient burial sites with armies standing in formation.
Mike, shut the fuck up, dude. That's all I'm trying to say.
No. Have you never seen images of the terracotta army?
No.
Oh, it's crazy. There's literally thousands of soldiers with individual faces carved, all standing around the tomb of, I can't remember who was buried there. It's like an emperor or something. It's you should give it a look. Look up the terracotta army, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's insane.
Yeah. I might have to check that out. I've heard of terracotta, but I've never seen the pictures. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was bullshit, but I guess maybe it's not. So
Well, it's complete bullshit. This movie's 100% fictional.
oh yeah, of course. But yeah, I mean, trying to criticize this thing for not being realistic is stupid. So
You know what's funny? This brings up a good point. So while I'm watching these movies, and these people are opening up like the Book of the Dead and reading the fucking phrases in the book and all the stuff that they're doing, the moviegoer in me is like, why are you doing that?
right.
But the real person in me is like, I would be totally that person.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Because I wouldn't believe in any of that shit.
One thing that I do think is amusing is that in the movie, because they sit there, these are big old books that got a lot of shit written in them, and it seems like every time they pick it up, they just happen to read what it is they're looking for.
Well, If you look at the side of them, there's only about 9 pages.
Yeah, they're not super thick, but there is a lot of shit written on them.
No, each page is like a half-inch thick.
Yeah.
They're like tablets.
Right.
In,
It's all
in a
like
book.
engraved in the shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do think that it is funny, though, because Jonathan, the brother, winds up toward the end of the movie getting a hold of the book, and he can't read hardly any Egyptian. And so he just gets a hold of it, and he's like, I can read this. Let me see what that does. And like it summons this army to like kick Rick's ass, which is fantastic. So
That he finally gains control of when there's like 3 left.
yeah, precisely. But it is a cool payoff because then they instruct him to go kill a Noxuna Moon, which is nice. I like
It
that.
made me sad.
But meh, it'd be okay.
She's my favorite person in the movie.
Really? She didn't do anything. That really surprises me. But
She shined like a star.
I guess so.
She shined bright like a diamond.
She did do that. She had all that gold body paint. She was very shiny for a minute there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I thought that the booby trap that Benny activated seemed like
You
it
said
could
booby.
booby. I did say that. It seems like it could be activated really easily accidentally.
Oh, I feel like if you're gonna set your bags down on anything, don't stick it on the 2-foot-long pole jetting out of the wall.
Right. That's probably not a smooth move.
That definitely looks like some type of liver.
Right. It does indeed. And I don't get it either. I would have just set it on the ground, personally. But
I would just fucking sucked it up and marched the fuck out
right,
of there.
fucking nut up or shut up. One of them type of deals. Let's see here. I thought that it was kind of cool because whenever we see a Noxuna Moon first kill herself at the beginning of the movie, it's a silhouette because it's like a shadow is being cast on a wall. And then whenever we see the guards of Imhotep kill her at the end of the movie, it's also done in silhouette of a shadow on a wall. So that was kind of a neat little callback, I thought.
Yeah.
But I get claustrophobic real bad.
Oh.
So that whole like scene of him barely making it out of that thing before it crushes his fucking ass is real hard for me to watch, dude. Like that would it almost makes me like have a panic attack just watching.
I don't like being in close, like tight spaces either. I think most people don't like it. But considering you're like 8 inches taller than me, it's probably a lot harder for you.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I would say that's probably true. One thing I wrote down is I'm glad that they didn't drop the whole storyline of them being rich in the next movie. We actually see him and they got like his pimped out pad and all that other shit, and they're doing pretty well for themselves. So it's not like they completely dropped it. They just kind of took it and ran with it, which is kind of cool.
My last note in this movie is goodbye, Benny.
Goodbye, Benny. Yeah.
I hated that dude.
Yeah. He got the bad end of that deal with those scarabs, but I'd say it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy, so fuck him.
I mean, someone should have hooked him up with some modern toothbrush and toothpaste or some shit.
Dude, that was looking bad. I hope that those were some kind of false teeth they had to put in, because
I'm sure.
I'm sure
those aren't
yeah.
real teeth.
Yeah, you're definitely going to get typecast in Hollywood with that kind of grill. I ain't going to lie. I really didn't write anything else down. I guess, I guess we could talk a little bit about Stephen Summers if you wanted to, because he's done a fair amount of shit. But it's all brainless bullshit.
Laid on me.
All right. So we've got Odd Thomas, that Anton Yelchin thing. I've never seen it. I've seen it on Netflix like forever, but I've never bothered to watch it. G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra.
Which I wanted to love. I wanted to.
Yeah.
I grew up on Joes, man. Like, I had hundreds of them.
Well, dude, I used to watch G.I. Joes all the time. And people
I was watching the cartoon one morning on my way to school. Like, we're eating cereal at the coffee table.
Right.
And I'm watching G.I. Joe. This was like a morning ritual for me.
Of course.
And then there's a stampede of bulls on the cartoon, and they're running towards the camera. And then a real life fucking earthquake hits.
Oh, no.
I thought the show was like
was real.
It was shaking the house.
Holy shit. That's fucking crazy that it timed like that.
And then I wrote out the rest of that earthquake underneath the coffee table.
Watching G.I. Joe.
The earthquakes happen pretty fast. They don't last very long.
No, they don't. He did the previously aforementioned Van Helsing movie.
Which I also wanted to love.
Yeah, I thought that all those horror icons kind of getting together was really cool. And I love the design for Frankenstein, how he has a lot more mechanical shit going on in that one.
Well, and it was on the tails of Underworld.
Yes, it was. There's a lot of that shit going on.
Yeah,
But-
so I was like, this is going to be great.
Right.
It wasn't.
It was not. No. And I actually like the first couple Underworld movies, so it's whatever. But and of course The Mummy Returns and this. But no, I'm kind of like you, man. So people talk about Transformers a lot, and Transformers never really was my thing. It was always G.I. Joe for me. I used to watch the cartoon. I remember when I was a little bitty dude, little bitty, I had the underwear and stuff even, you know. So like yeah, I was rocking and rolling, man. But overall, oh, go ahead.
My holy trinity of cartoons when I was a kid, by the way, was G.I. Joe's, Transformers, and Voltron.
And Voltron. Oh. Fascinating, Mike. I've never seen a single Voltron anything.
Think Power Rangers, but way cooler.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I used to watch Power Rangers a lot, and I knew at the time that Power Rangers was garbage, and I still fucking watched it. So, figured that
You weren't the only one. It was a monster hit.
Yeah, it really was, but I kind of wonder how many people actually at the time thought that it was legit cool. So, I don't know. I will say that I remember when the original Power Rangers movie came out, and I at the time thought that that was really cool, though. So, figure that out.
The one that was just a few years ago?
No, this is whenever the TV show was like at its height at the time. And like
The one that came out a few years ago was actually pretty good.
I didn't mind that one. I wasn't mad at it. Overall, what did you think of The Mummy, Mike?
Well, hey, you put it together pretty quickly. I mean, I think we were about 8 minutes into this episode when you said, I thought it was a pretty good little action movie and a little bit of fun, and that was about it. And I think I'm going to agree to that.
Yeah. It's lighthearted, stupid fun, but it's enjoyable. So
I'll say this. When it was over, Nicole and I were very tempted to watch The Mummy Returns.
Oh, really? Yeah, if you guys are listening, they have all 3 of those on Netflix. Of course, Rachel Weisz doesn't come back for the 3rd one, though.
You just watched the first 2.
Yeah, pretty much that's all you need. I wouldn't even mess with the Scorpion King stuff myself. But, yeah. The second one... So the second one I would call a guilty pleasure movie of mine because I do have a good time watching it, but there is a lot of bullshit, though. The first one, there was this dude that I knew in high school that he was of the opinion that the first movie was bullshit. He thought that this movie was crap or whatever. And then he watched the second one and he was like, it kind of makes the first one look pretty good, you know? So, there's some dumb stuff, but I think it's a fun one too. So, that's whatever.
Well, I will say 1999 doing pretty well.
Well, something like this in 1998 would have been like number 2 on my best of list. Yeah.
Well, The Mummy, not bad. The Entrapment, not terrible. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but it's not bad. The Matrix,
pretty good.
Good movie.
Really good.
Yeah, great movie. I'm looking at some of the ones here. I can't remember which ones are our choices and which ones weren't.
We had like Message in a Bottle and shit like that, which was
8mm
cool.
was kind of blah.
Yeah.
Was Terminator Salvation one of your choices?
I picked that one, yeah.
Okay.
Remember you weren't sure why?
Payback?
Payback. Yep. That one wasn't bad.
Nope.
It was alright.
She's All That was great.
Yeah, I like She's All That. So, I guess, so far, 1999 is showing a far superior lineup than 1998 ever dreamt of, actually.
Varsity Blues?
Yeah, that one wasn't bad. I'm down for that. I think
My
Civil
notes are so
Action was last
random.
year.
I'm looking at all these fucking notes.
See, I always
Varsity Blues was last year.
no, that came out this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird though because I type all my shit out, so I just delete all my shit. I don't give a fuck. But anyway, so this is kind of weird. I haven't bought a brand new video game in a while. The last game that I bought, I think I bought it used, and
Did you
that
talk about
was
this?
no. Well, I did talk a little bit, but that was the Friday the 13th game, and that didn't have any kind of booklet or anything with it, but I did notice that the Spider-Man game that I purchased doesn't have any kind of insert with it or anything. And I think that that's really kind of strange. What I think is the most strange about it is they really don't care if you have any handle on the controls or anything like that at all, you know? So I
You
don't
go
know.
into settings and it shows you the controller layout.
Well, I
now.
guess that's true. So there's ways around it, but there's just always been inserts. So I guess we're in a strange new world, Mike. I don't know.
We're living in a digital world.
Yeah. It's not that I don't have... I guess there's not any real games that... Like, for example, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a game that I would be super interested in purchasing. And I would love to, except for the fact that I really don't have that much time to contribute to it. And
Oh,
so
you don't
it's-
have a month to put it into the story mode? Because that's what I did.
Yeah, that's my time is scarce, unfortunately. So it's a deal where I guess I could get more games, but I guess I really don't see the point in spending the money on it because fucking I don't have time to fuck with it anyway, pretty much. So I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but no, man, it's just us chilling at the house. The wives are out tonight.
Yeah, ladies' night.
Yeah, these kids can't hold their liquor for shit, by the way. So 4 shots in, Madeline was on the floor, but.
Did you go watch anything this week?
I didn't go watch anything, but
Okay, did you watch anything?
I did watch some stuff, though, and I'm actually super excited to talk about it. So the first one is this show on Hulu called Dark Castle. I don't know if you've heard anything about it or not.
I have not.
It is, excuse me, I didn't mean to bump the mic there, but I feel like I just did.
By the way, Hulu, you guys do a shit job of getting out your shows. Like, you have some quality stuff, but nobody knows about it.
Right. Yeah, there's no advertising for that, unfortunately.
Like, Netflix drops a new show, everyone knows about it.
Everyone knows. Even Amazon Prime kind of say, if you watch YouTube videos, you see a lot of Amazon Prime ads on YouTube, actually.
Yeah, but Hulu, like, you got it's only word of mouth that I find out about stuff for Hulu.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even know what like Handmaid's Tale was until probably 8 months ago. So
Third season's coming out this summer.
there you go. Anyway, this Dark Castle television program, it seems to be an interesting one. So the setting for it actually takes place at Shawshank Penitentiary from the Shawshank
What?
Redemption. Yeah. And you find out that the warden of the prison, after he commits suicide, the new warden finds out that he has been harboring a person in like this cell block that he shut down, that he locked him away. And apparently he thinks that this person is the devil and that they should not be released. And that's as far as we've made it thus far, but it's pretty good.
I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty good one. And I finally got a chance to sit down and watch the TV show Maniac. Well, I'm about halfway through it at this point. But man, do I love that fucking miniseries. It's real good.
I don't know it. What's it about?
That's the one with Emma Stone and Jonah Hill on Netflix. Where
Oh, yeah, I watched the whole thing.
yeah. No, I think
It's bizarre.
it is bizarre, but I'm really enjoying it so far, man. It's a good quality show. I think that they have a really good mixture of being able to balance out. Like, there's some super funny shit in that show, and then other times it's really deep, you know, and kind of there's some sad shit going on. And so they do a great job, I feel like, of just nailing both of those tones. But it's really good. The acting's good. The story's really cool. I'm all in on that one. So
I'm a Jonah Hill and Emma Stone fan, so it works for me.
yeah, she's awesome. Anyway, what about you, man?
So Nicole and I have kind of been ruined on television thanks to Game of Thrones.
Okay.
We have a DVR full of shit that we should be watching to catch up on our regular programming. And we can't make it to 30 minutes of it.
Really?
Everything we've been watching is just dog shit compared to Game of Thrones.
So even
of
if
course,
it's
we
a
had
reality thing, or like, say, like Hell's Kitchen or something, even that, even though it's not even comparable to Game of Thrones,
No, it's crap.
you still haven't been watching. Okay. Fair enough.
So we've been trying to watch movies.
Okay.
And we watched some movies here recently that weren't very good either. We watched Split.
Ooh,
Oh, no, correction.
The
We watched
Glass.
Glass.
How
Yeah,
did you
watched
think
Glass.
of that? What was your opinion?
Meh.
Yeah. There's a guy that I actually went to AIT with when I got in the Army. And I was just talking to him on Facebook today. And he was trying to tell me about how much he enjoyed that movie. And I find it interesting that you, on the other hand, the same day tell me that it's not good at all. So.
I didn't say it wasn't good at all. I said it was meh.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
We watched Skyscraper.
Oh, I heard that sucked.
You heard correctly.
You're just saying how great Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is, too. That's fucking funny.
Well, we watched it because he's in it.
Right.
But, like, he's jumping from, like, cranes to buildings and
That's dumb.
just doing shit that I don't think anyone could physically do.
You know,
And especially at his size.
right.
There's so many times in this movie where he, like, jumps from one surface to another and is holding on by his fucking fingernails. And I got my wife over there going, like, would you do that for me? I'm like, well,
I would try.
I would try.
Yeah. I ain't going to last too long, but I would try.
Yeah. Yeah, try.
Did you watch that movie Rampage that he did?
Yeah, we watched
I heard that
shit.
fucking sucked, too. But
It wasn't good either.
No.
It's right next to... So if you have HBO Go, or HBO Now, you can watch Rampage and Skyscraper back to back, and you almost feel like you're watching the same movie.
ooh, a little Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson suckfest for your Sunday afternoon. There you
Now,
go, everybody.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson Suckfest sounds like a lot of fun.
Who's sucking on what? I don't want to know.
It doesn't matter. It sounds like fun either way.
Sucking rocks.
Do you know he can't put The Rock in his name in these movies?
Oh, I thought that he did that to try to distance himself from his
No.
wrestling persona. I didn't realize that was mandated.
WWE owns the name The Rock.
Oh, so he jumped away from them, and that was a wrap.
He had to.
I see.
If he puts Dwayne The Rock Johnson in the title of or in the credits of a movie, the WWE gets a piece.
Oh, interesting. What else did you watch, my friend?
So as you mentioned, our wives are all doing a ladies' night thing. So I took a beautiful little girl, and we went and watched a movie called Ugly Dolls.
I don't know that much about that. I don't think I've seen it.
I don't think anyone knows anything about it. We went to the movie theater to watch it.
I bet it was
And,
packed, too.
It was pretty full.
Really?
Yeah,
How have I never heard of this?
it just came out last week.
Oh, okay.
It came out like the same weekend Endgame came out.
Oh, that sucks for that movie. Boof.
Yeah, but for families with small kids, like they'll go see that.
Right. The only thing that you can really do at that point is come out with a movie that's made on like $10 million. So that way, even if it has very little money coming in from Endgame, then it still could make its budget back pretty easily. But otherwise, you're out.
So all you need to know about Ugly Dolls is take a smash up of Toy Story and Trolls, smash it together, water it down by about 90%, and you have Ugly Dolls.
So you really liked it.
No.
I don't know why, because in my opinion, The Secret Life of Pets is really just a clone of Toy Story as far as the story goes. I don't know why there's this tendency to want to copy Toy Story all of a sudden. You know, that movie fucking came out in 1995, you know? I don't get
They
it.
made bank and started a franchise.
I mean, it did. I mean, it started an entire style of animation, really. But
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
and Toy Story 4 is coming out in June.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of these movies are trying to jump into that before Toy Story.
Oh, okay. I see.
But the important thing is Fair enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Exactly. Maybe
$50 later.
Right.
That's all that matters.
Maybe it's just me. I really feel like Toy Story would have been fine being a trilogy and not having a fourth installment.
It completely would have been fine, but then we couldn't have made another $200 million.
Oh, I guess it's going to make more than that. But, you know, it's whatever. Did you watch anything else this week worth mentioning? Or
I know I watched some other shit movies. We've been trying to... Oh, we watched that Ted Bundy movie.
Oh, I heard that kind of sucked too.
With...
Zac Efron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was completely not what I expected to see.
Okay.
And I'm not going to spoil it because, you know, all 5 of our listeners might want to go check that out later.
Oh, there you go, guys. You guys get together. A little potluck.
Yeah. You can get our one fan from Spain to fly in.
Oh, there you go.
And our English fan.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Hell yeah.
But, yeah, I'm not going to ruin it. It just wasn't what I expected. But I can see what they tried to do. They're trying to tell a story from someone else's perspective.
Wasn't it like an old girlfriend or something like that?
It was his fiance's.
Oh, okay. I got you. Was Zac Efron any good in it, or?
Yeah, he does his
Okay.
job. He does his job.
'Cause
I
I
think
think-
everybody in the movie does their job.
Yeah. I think that he has the potential to be a good actor, but he also does a lot of movies where he fucks around a lot. So,
You know, everybody does their job. I feel like they filmed the movie that they were supposed to film. It's just not what I wanted to see.
right. I got you. I hear you. Well, me and the wife will
I think
probably
that's
check
what
it out
this-
anyway.
I think this is one of the things that this show has taught me.
Mm-hmm.
That it doesn't mean they're a bad actor because it wasn't what I wanted to see. It just they filmed something different than I wanted.
Yeah. No, I understand. They just had a different take. It's just opinion. You mentioned that you were going to come back to it, but so what happened whenever you watched The Last Jedi today, Mike?
Oh, it still sucks.
Oh, okay. I was kind of thinking that, but, you know. Did you just watch it because it happened to be on Netflix and it was May the 4th?
Well, no. So after we were done with the movie, Farrah really wanted to go play with one of her friends,
Right.
who is the daughter of one of my coworkers.
Okay.
And we live about 30 minutes apart, so they don't ever really get to hang out. But I had mentioned to her, you know, maybe we'll go over there. So she woke up this morning talking about, like, are we going to go see her? Are we going to go see her? So when we got out of Ugly Dolls, I called her dad and was like, hey, man, I don't want to intrude, but Farrah really wants to play with your kid. Do you mind if we swing by? And he was totally cool. He was like, yeah, come on through.
Right.
So we went and hang out, and we ordered some pizza and drank a couple beers. While the kids are playing, we watched The Last Jedi. He had been watching it all. He'd been watching Star Wars movies all day.
Oh. So he took it seriously, I guess. That's cool.
Yeah.
Go all in, man. That's what I say. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I thought about which one I would watch because I thought about watching one after this, and I'm kind of maybe thinking The Empire Strikes Back. That's the one that I tend to gravitate toward, but who knows?
Well, I would give you fair warning. We're going into Star Wars month next month.
Yeah.
Or-
Next week.
Next week.
Yeah. Super
So,
excited
you know,
about that.
Don't use up one of your picks tonight.
No, I don't want to do that. Actually, I'm only going to get one pick, as it turns out, Mike. You get to pick 2 Star Wars movies, because I got the last pick.
Yeah.
You said that you had one in mind. I actually sent Mike a list of recommendations for movies that I would pick from if I was going to choose. Basically, what I'm going off of, really, and I don't know if Mike has something that meets this criteria
Yeah, let's
or
talk
not.
about your criteria, Shane.
Okay. I wanted it to be something that was Star Wars. Obviously, it could not be a movie that is newer than 1999. That's Star Wars. So talking about The Force Awakens or something like that's out of the question. There was a movie that was number 1 at the box office, however, that came out after 1999 that bore the name Star Wars, and that was Star Wars: The Clone Wars. That was the first episode of the cartoon, supposedly, that came out. And then there's a bunch of made-for-TV crap. What was it? The goofy Ewok movies. And then there was, of course, the holiday special. And I also was going to include films that were also created solely because Star Wars was created. So that would include your copycat movies, such as The Black Hole or some of that Roger Corman crap in there. So stuff like that pretty much is what I'm getting at. One movie that I also contemplated that I don't think I'm going to talk about it this time anyway, but that was a movie that was indirectly related to Star Wars. It was called Damnation Alley, and I was telling Mike about it a little while back, but it came out the same summer as Star Wars, and that was the movie that 20th Century Fox was expecting to be the runaway hit of the summer. And as it turns out, nobody went and saw it because they went and watched Star Wars instead. They were actually making deals with movie theaters that they could get Damnation Alley, but they had to take Star Wars too. And Star Wars slayed it at the box office. So, wow. But I don't know what you have in mind, because you said that yours wasn't on any of that. You went way outside the box.
I didn't go way outside the box, and to be honest, because of the way the weeks lined up, and I'm actually picking a movie before the episode 4
or episode
premieres.
1. Yeah.
Oh, episode 1, yes.
Yeah.
I've changed my pick.
Oh, okay. Well,
and I feel like
it
wouldn't be right to jump into Star Wars month without watching episode 4.
Episode 4. Okay. I'm kind of down for that, because we established a lot of stuff. We established the Jedi. We established Anakin Skywalker. We established a lot of stuff. The Force in general, what it is, lightsabers, things like that.
Luke and Leia.
Yeah, of course. So I'm completely down for that. Are you at liberty to tell me your pick, or will it be your pick later?
The one that I was going to pick?
Yes.
Oh, you'll be seeing it again.
Okay.
So I won't be mentioning it.
Fair enough. I'm super excited about it, because whenever we go in to talk about episode 1, we also have a guest that's coming to talk about it with us.
Oh.
So,
do I happen to know who this person is?
You do.
Would I happen to stand in his shadow when he is near me?
You would happen to stand in his shadow. And I don't know. I might come pretty close to it, because that dude's tall. But, yeah. So there's that. I'm looking forward to it.
Fans of the show, if you listen to the Back to the Future episode, you may know who we're talking about.
Yes, exactly. If you need a refresher, it's on YouTube. But I'm pumped about it, but I think that episode 1's going to be a long episode, bro. I could see that thing going into at least 2 hours, if not close to 3. So we'll see. I got a lot of shit to say.
We turned the Mummy into an hour and 20, so who knows?
It is true. You wouldn't think there'd be that much to say about this fucking movie, but
there wasn't. We talked about everything else.
We did. If you guys have anything that you want to talk about, you can email us. Our email address is cheesymovie@yahoo.com. You can check us out on Facebook, Casino Royale with Cheese, all separate words. You can look us up on iTunes, Instagram, and YouTube. Casino Royale, W Cheese, all one word. Nobody cares about Twitter. Final thoughts, Mike?
Nope.
I am going to say, if you like Star Wars, then I definitely recommend you to join us next week and encourage people that you know that like Star Wars to join us as well, because it's classic stuff here that we got going on. I'm a big old fan. I don't really get into the books, so a lot of people that do get into the books probably would be disappointed with that, but I'm super pumped about it. So.
Well, and you know what? I said I didn't have any last words, but I kind of do now. If you guys listen to this show and you happen to be a fan of Shane and his opinion and thoughts on things, you're going to want to join us, because this dude is an uber Star Wars nerd. So Come on by. Check it out.
Oh, I'm also going to watch the original cut of episode 4, not the George Lucas special edition, because fuck that one.
Oh, yeah, I'll be watching the original, too.
You know, how can you... Do you have those?
I mean, that's what's out, right?
Oh, it's got all the extra George Lucas bullshit that was added to it. So I don't know.
No.
Maybe we should watch the same one. I might watch that one.
I don't know.
I think
we'll
that
see.
would be for the best. But anyway, we'll figure that out. In any regard, I have no other thoughts in my head outside of that. So anyway, thank you guys for joining us for The Mummy. And make sure you join us as we kick off Star Wars month next week. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
I'll be back.